In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Leonardo Dionysus Limited Edition fountain pen. I'll go over the specs, I will do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. So this is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Dionysus Limited Edition, made, I believe, specifically for drone ghouls, and this was loaned to me for review by Neil of the Wasted Paper Fountain Pen YouTube channel. Thank you very much, Neil, for sending me this pen. Please go check out his channel. He has a lot of great pen content. I'll put a link to that in the description below. Now, this pen is a very interesting pen for a lot of different reasons. First, let's talk about the material. This material was made by Bob Duprus, I believe is how you say his name. He is a pen turner, I believe, and he makes a lot of his own materials. This particular one is called Bourbon. I believe it is a acrylic, and it's a very interesting material. This particular one is in a matte finish, which I think is really cool looking. There is some depth and pearlescence to the material, particularly in the orange and green areas. It's a very neat looking material. It's probably a little bit strong for my taste, just visually, but it is very cool and not really something I've seen a lot before. I do think it also contrasts nicely with the gold gloss trim here. Now, this is the Momento Zero Grande size, so this is, I believe, the biggest size that Leonardo makes, and this has a number 8 titanium nib that was made in-house by Leonardo. Pause here for just a minute because turns out I was misinformed about these titanium number 8 nibs. I am now told they are made by Bach and are not made in-house by Leonardo, so I apologize for the error, but there's the correction. I don't know the price of this particular pen because it's sold out and the product pages on the Drum Ghouls website are all down. So can't say what the price is, but looking at Leonardo's website for other pens that had this number 8 titanium nib, they seem to be in the 400 to 500 euro range. So this is not a particularly affordable pen, but it's a very, very cool pen. So let's walk through the pen. So the shape of this pen really is an Omas Extra from the 30s or late 20s. They basically just straight up copied that design, which, it's a beautiful pen, so it's a good one to copy. But yeah, it's like they blew up the size of it a bit, but the design is basically the same. We have these sort of funnel end points here. We have the Italian style roller clip here, which looks just like what they did back in the 30s. And then we have the 3 rings here. Again, same design. I don't believe that the old pens had this ring here on the body, but otherwise this is basically just an Omas Extra design, which is a very, very pretty pen. It tapers towards the tail and it tapers towards the cap there. So pretty pen. On the back, I don't know if this is going to show up. Let's see here. In the light, it might catch it, but it does say Leonardo by Drone Ghouls, and it says 003 because this is number 3 out of 40. And let's uncap the pen here. 1 turn, 1¼ turns it seems like. And here we have, a step down to the threading and a nice big grip section that kind of tapers to about right here and then flares out. So you aren't, grabbing the nib there. Now the nib, this is Leonardo's own in-house made titanium nib. You can just see the Leonardo wings there, Leonardo Italy, or does it say Italia? Yeah. Leonardo Italy, and TI22 and Medio because it's a medium. Very simple looking nib. I like the matte gold finish. I think that looks really cool. We have a Japanese ebonite feed here, a big feed. So this thing can hold a lot of ink in the feed, which is really good because this is a very wet, bouncy nib. It is a piston filler. This is the piston knob here. I do notice there's a little bit of play in here, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Otherwise, the fit and finish of this pen looks really, really good to me. Now, in terms of the size and weight, this is a big pen. 155 capped and 142 uncapped. Now, I'm not going to post this pen because it's not my pen and I didn't ask if I can post it, but it's a massive pen. I wouldn't see posting this pen except for, just in limited situations where you didn't have a place for the cap. Now, in terms of the grip section, right before the threading, 12.7, and then right before it flares out towards the nib is 12. So it is a good sized grip section. I do find that for me, for my hand, it's not the most comfortable. I think this size grip section I would feel it would be more comfortable for me with the number 6 nib. I think if they made this grip section a bit fatter, I would have that comfort. But, this is just a me thing. The Santini number 8 nib didn't agree with my hand. This is definitely better than that. But I would say it's, similar to like a Pelican M1000, where you do have that skinnier grip section, so you don't quite get the fatter one that I tend to prefer, like on the Mont Blanc 149. Just when the nibs get big, it always changes the geometry of the way that, the angle that you hold the nib to the pen or to the paper. Anyway, in terms of the weight, it's 29 grams, which is, relatively heavy for a resin pen, but because it's so large, I don't think that's really a big deal. And then unposted, like you're going to be using it, I think most of the time, most people would be, it's 19.6 grams. So very comfortable weight. I do just find that with that bigger nib, the grip section I think would be more comfortable if it was a bit wider. But again, that's very personal. Okay, let's do some comparisons here. So just to show you how huge this pen is, here it is with a 149, and as we can see, it is noticeably longer. Here it is with a Aurora Optima, and here it is with a Lummi Safari. So, and then just to compare the nibs here, I'm going to take this guy off. Number 9 nib on the Mont Blanc here, and the number 8 on the Leonardo. And you can just see the 149, roughly the same length nib, but fatter grip section. And for whatever reason, that makes a big difference for me in terms of the overall comfort. That's not to say that the Leonardo is uncomfortable, but a fatter grip section would make this pen, I think, slightly better for me. For the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Tomoe River hardcover notebook. These notebooks are excellent for fountain pens and for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers. You can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. This is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Dionysus. And this is the number 8 titanium nib, number 8 titanium, and this is a medium. And the ink is Hiroshizuku Tsukiyo. Oh my gosh. Now, it's not my pen, and this is a pretty soft nib, so I'm not going to go do my normal fast writing. We'll just do some gentle fast writing here. But it keeps up very nicely. This nib, like I said before, is made in-house by Leonardo, and they use this big Japanese ebonite feed. It keeps up really, really nicely. This nib is super bouncy. It is, yeah, unlike any other titanium nib I've used. And, for if it was a gold nib, this would be what I would consider a very bouncy gold nib. So very impressed with this nib. In terms of flexibility, again, it's not my nib, so I'm not going to push too hard on it, but you can definitely get some nice line variation there without too much effort. Now, in normal writing, I don't see too much in the way of line variation. It is there, but it's not there in the way that it is like on a flex, a real flex nib. But overall, this nib for me is a real wow. Let's try reverse writing. Yeah, it's pretty smooth, and definitely you have uh, a big difference in the line there. So yeah, this nib is an absolute wow. I love the performance of it, the feel of it. This is what I want fountain pen companies to be doing, is making different, interesting nibs like this. This is an awesome nib. So 10 out of 10 for me on this nib. So what are my pros and cons for the Leonardo Dionysus fountain pen? Well, the big deal here is that number 8 titanium Leonardo nib. This nib for me is a wow. It is very, very bouncy. It has its own unique personality. The performance is excellent. The nib for me is really like a 10 out of 10. This is what I want more fountain pen companies to be doing. The price, I don't know the exact price for this model, as it was a limited edition and it's now gone, so sorry I don't have that, but it seems like the typical price for the number 8, for a pen with the number 8 titanium nib from Leonardo, is around 400 to 500 euros, which is for sure not a cheap pen. However, to have that titanium nib with its unique character, I think it's pretty darn good, and I would certainly, based on the other gold nibs, number 8 gold nibs I've used from Leonardo, this is so much better than that. So it's expensive, but I think it's actually pretty fairly priced. Now, I do also find that this pen is pretty comfortable. The design of it, it's based on a Omas Extra pen from the 30s, which is a very good looking pen. So you have those same more or less proportions here and design. I like that. They make their piston filling system in-house. I think pretty much everything's made in-house. That's all really good. So I think the price is very fair and you get that magnificent nib. In terms of cons, well, one, you can't buy this particular pen anymore, and I don't see any Leonardo number 8 titanium nibs for sale. I've emailed Leonardo about that to say, hey, can I buy one of these? Is there a way to special order one? They don't respond, so I don't know. It's going to be hard to get one of these. That is a massive negative, but the nib is a real wow. Other cons, the piston knob here is a bit loose. I don't know how good Leonardo's build quality really is at the end of the day. Don't love to see that. And then there's the material. It's just not my cup of tea. I think it's cool that it's matte and there's a nice amount of depth to it, but visually, this probably isn't the pen that I would pick. I'd want something a bit more subdued. And then the third, I would say negative, is potentially a comfort issue. I do think that this size pen with a number 6 nib is ultimately more comfortable for me, for my hand. If you have bigger hands, this may work perfectly for you, but if this pen had a fatter grip section, I know this would be a more comfortable pen for me. But I should also say, I did that review of the Santini number 8 nib, and that pen just was not comfortable for me. This pen is comfortable. I just know it would be made more comfortable if they either increased the grip section width or made the nib a little bit shorter. That's basically it. But that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.